Welcome to the Custodial Support Forum, where each episode we discuss issues and provide solutions to one of the largest problems in America, child support. Hi, my name is Kai Patterson and I'm your host. In this episode, we're going to show you how to calculate how much child support you should be receiving or paying.
Are you owed child support?
Does the non-custodial parent of your children avoid your calls, hide their income and assets, or has relocated to prevent paying child support?
The Custodial Support Foundation provides you with the services to begin receiving the child support your children need.
Call 855-851-HELP now to receive the help your children deserve.
Welcome. We're talking about filing to receive a child support order. We're discussing this issue because 2 out of every 3 parents that are owed child support don't have a child support order. And I'm here with our legal analyst, Ben Kelson. I want to talk to you about what's required to receive a child support order by both parents.
Okay, that's a great question. Well, the first thing that we obviously need to have is the full legal name of everybody. We need to make sure that we have whatever the real name is that appeared on the birth certificate, whatever their legal name is with the government.
Okay.
We also need to have a date of birth.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of people out there who may have the same first name and last name, but we're going to use a date of birth. And then the third thing, which is the social security number, to be able to try to identify that person more specifically.
And that's for both parents?
That's for both parents.
So the custodial needs to know the non-custodial parents.
Absolutely.
If they don't have it, it won't preclude it, but it will help the process.
Correct. And as we've actually mentioned in the past, one of the bigger difficulties is when you don't have the full legal name, where you don't actually know the non-custodial parent's name,
as we discussed in the
last episode, or you don't know their date of birth, or you don't know their social. And what could end up happening is that if you don't know these things, then there's going to be a difficulty for tracking that person down. And if we can't track the person down, you're not going to get your child support payments.
Correct.
Okay. In addition to those things that are those things which are the groundwork, so to speak. So we also need to have a current residential address. Right. We need to be able to find the person.
So
right,
they
to
can
know
be
where they
served.
live. So they can be served. We got to know where they live.
Okay.
The next thing we need to know is a place of employment. So if we're going to be doing a garnishment of wages or a levy of assets, as was discussed, we need to know where that person's working.
Okay. So a custodial parent should know where the non-custodial parent is employed.
Correct. If they don't,
but if they don't have a job, then they still should go ahead and file. Correct.
Absolutely, you should always file. The clock starts ticking once you start filing. If you don't file, then you're not going to be in a position to be able to get those child support payments later on down the line.
That's important. That is important. Most custodial parents don't realize that in most cases, it's my understanding that in most cases, if your child support payments start from the time in which you file. Now, it's my understanding that the court could grant, they could grant child support based on an earlier date than the date in which the custodial parent filed. But it's my understanding that in most cases, your child support payments, you start accruing child support on the day that you file.
Correct. The vast majority of the time, the court was not going to go look back too far, if at all, past the date of the actual filing. So the minute you start filing, that's when you're going to start getting child support from, or at least accruing child support. And that can happen as soon as a custodial parent knows that they're expecting a child. As soon as you know you're expecting, file those child support papers, because if you don't, then you will not begin getting an accrual of whatever it is that you're owed for child support to help take care of that child.
Okay, great. And what we're going to do is we actually are going to display the information with the rest, or we're going to display what the rest of the information that's needed for a custodial parent to file in the show. Now let's go on. I want to talk about there's 3 types of child support orders. It's my understanding. Okay. Can you explain the difference between the different types of dockets?
Sure. There are 3 dockets within the New Jersey Family Division. There is the standard FM docket number, which basically stands for family is for F, and then M usually stands for, at least used to stand for, marital, which basically means that it's either a family matter or a marriage-related issue. In other words, we're filing for child support, you're filing for some form of support payment or some other issue regarding a marriage which is not yet being filed for dissolution.
Gotcha.
Which brings us to the FD docket number. An FD docket number stands for dissolution. And this is a matter in which a divorce is being sought, or an annulment, or some other form of dissolution of the marriage.
Or if they weren't even married. It's my understanding.
Correct, right.
So they'll get an FD, a person that's not married and they have a child, they'll get an FD docket.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the final one is an FV. An FV was instituted with the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act.
Okay.
And FV, V stands for violence, as in domestic violence, and that is the 3rd type, generally speaking, of matter within the family part. Now there are other types, but they don't really apply to us here.
Okay.
There could be an FA, which is for adoption, other things of that sort, but those don't apply to us here.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if a custodial parent if a custodial parent and a non-custodial parent aren't getting along and there happens to be some type of domestic violence situation, child support can be instituted.
That's correct.
Wonderful. And a lot of custodial parents don't know this.
That's right. That's one of the hardest parts.
This is important information for viewers. Okay. What's needed to, let's go through a sample of a child support application or calculating the arrears. Let's talk about, or calculating, not arrears, the child support payments.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Let's talk about the information, and believe it or not, I actually went on the internet and I went from state to state to state, and every state has different requirements to calculate how much child support should be paid.
That is true, yes.
It's state by state.
Right.
And so one of the things we did for this show was we actually created a web page that provides the links to every state's child support calculator. So we have a calculator for you viewers out here. So all you got to do is go on custodialsupport.org/calculator.html, and we'll display it. And you can actually select your state's calculator to allow you to calculate how much child support you should be receiving, or if you're a non-custodial parent, how much child support you should be paying. But let's take an example.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay? If you're a parent and you have one child, right, and you're the custodial parent's the mother, and the non-custodial parent has 2 overnights, and let's say the wages are $25,000 for the mother and $100,000 for the non-custodial father, and that doesn't mean that the custodial parent, the father, will always make more. And let's say the tax filing status of both parents are single for both. Okay. And this is important because some states don't take into consideration the tax filing status.
Right. That is correct.
But New Jersey does. Okay.
Right.
And then health insurance and child care. But here's one statistic that I was amazed to see, was the fact that New Jersey calculates the number of overnight stays per week. Right.
That is actually something which is very important. The concept of child support, and very often people forget, is that child support is just that. It's child support. It is funds that are being given by the non-custodial parent to the custodial parent for the actual care of the children. It's not something which is supposed to be a further alimony payment.
Correct.
It's not supposed to be something that lets somebody live a more lavish lifestyle.
Correct.
It's to take care of the basic needs of the children. So if one is making that calculation and the non-custodial parent is going to have 1 or 2 overnights a week or more, then obviously that will take away from the amount of support that the custodial parent would need in order to be able to basically to feed and take care of the children during that period of time.
And that's in the state of New Jersey.
Correct.
That's not in most states, believe it or not. When I went on the child support calculators for other states, that was not in there.
Right.
But based on that formula, the weekly child support would be $281.
That's correct.
And in the child support calculator, for you viewers, you can go online, you can put in various examples, and it will actually calculate how much child support you should be receiving, which is really a great tool for custodial and non-custodial parents.
Absolutely. It gives everybody an idea as to where they should be. It might be that the court takes into account different parameters or different significant details which may change that amount in a case-by-case basis. But in general, that will give a very good idea as to what the base child support payments should be per week.
Well, I'll tell you, Ben, this has been great. That about wraps up the amount of time that we have for this episode. But stay tuned. Please watch all of our episodes, because each week we're going to discuss issues related to child support and the problems of child support in America. Thank you.
Are you owed child support?
Does the non-custodial parent of your children avoid your calls, hide their income and assets, or has relocated to prevent paying child support?
The Custodial Support Foundation provides you with the services to begin receiving the child support your children need.
Call 855-851-HELP now to receive the help your children deserve.